50 years is a long time. A lot of memories, a lot of water has passed, but it was time to go back for the 50th anniversary celebrations. Tom Workman so proudly displayed our flag in Apeldoorn. And there the two young ladies from the tourist agency who sent the shirts over. Unfortunately, Tom died a month and a half after the trip, but it was a proud moment. Walter LaFranchi, Fred and Mildred James, who gave us a lot of information about our trip, although they were unable to go. We went by Amsterdam, London to Brighton, then across the Channel to Cherbourg, and then retraced the liberation route of the Canadian forces in northwest Europe, from Normandy to Belgium, into the Netherlands and Germany. Richard Brown from SFU, our piper, and Reverend Cardy, our Anglican chaplain, a ceremony for naval vets crossing the Channel. Dorothy Janes with Richard. D-Day, June the 6th, 1944, the largest invasion in history. There's the church at San Maria Eglise, where the paratrooper John Steele was hung up. The resistance people. The D-Day beaches. Bernier-Saint-Mer, then and now. The ceremony at Bernier Riviere, the only wet morning until we left. The weather was beautiful. Monsieur Nuri and Boukhara. It was a moving ceremony. St. Albans. Bill Holiday from the Langley Legion. The band from St. Albans playing O Canada. Followed by a very beautiful lunch at the St. Alban Community Hall and presentations. Then the radar station. Complimentary tickets. The Abbey Ardennes, Jacques Vico giving a very moving presentation of the murder of Canadian prisoners shortly after D-Day by the 12th SS Panzer. Herb and Rose Whitehead, Les Moore and René Chappé's widow, who hid Les Moore after his escape on the 20th of July after capture near Verriers Ridge. Ifs, Hell's Corner, some of the worst fighting in Normandy. We went to the Bouveur farm where Paul Aubry gave us a nice talk. He lost all his family in the war. It was a terrible battle that took place on Verriers Ridge. The inferior Allied tanks were blown to bits by the German tanks and the 88 guns. Many men lost their lives, especially South Saskatchewan and Blackwatch, Verriers Ridge today. The children at Bretteville Cemetery, another moving ceremony. A greeting from the mayor. Jack Smith's grave. A good friend of mine lost his brother there. He was in the Algonquins, 4th Div. There's Bill Batten, Fred Hack, Daniel Lee, and Jack Smith's grave. The BC regiment got lost and were massacred by the 12th S Panzer on the night of August the 8th. We moved on down to Falaise. Operation Totalized was successful except for the Allies being bombed by their own troops. Hill 140, where the BC regiment were lost. The German forces met an untimely end in the Falaise Gap. It was finally closed on 21st of August. Some escaped across the Seine on repaired bridges, but most of them were trapped or massacred. The resistance people, our dear friends in Caen. A memorable time. Birthdays, kisses. Madame Jeanette Bardot. Then it was on to Honfleur, the beautiful little channel port where Champlain had sailed from. The old church, there were artists painting the beautiful scenes. Beautiful day, beautiful scenery. And then Rouen. Short stop, expensive prices. And then to Dieppe, the cliffs at Puys, where the Royal Regiment of Canada was massacred. August the 19th, 1942. South Saskatchewan's at Pourville, along with the Cameron Highlanders. An interesting stop for Herman Keyes, who had been captured there and won the Distinguished Conduct Medal for a fierce rearguard action on the beach. Pourville, the Merritt Bridge, where Cease Merritt won the Victoria Cross, the first of the war. The wonderful sister Agnes Marie Valois. There's Herman pointing to the culvert where he won his DCM. And the Dieppe Cemetery, so sad. So many unknowns. 2 brothers from the Royal Regiment of Canada, only 2 sons. What a waste. Commander the Camerons, who was killed after he stepped off the landing craft. Many unknowns, known only to God. Navy, Air Force, and Army. Their name liveth forevermore. And the meeting hall, where we had a reception. All the dignitaries were there. We felt a little travel weary, not too well dressed. There's Sister Marie and Herman. Sister Marie had nursed Herman in Rouen Hospital following Dieppe. And what a reunion they had. And the next morning outside the Dieppe City Hall, Bill Holiday, a sergeant at arms, one of the dignitaries, and Sister Agnes Marie Valois, and the South Saskatchewan plaque she had received a year earlier. And one of the pictures during the war, the patient she attended to, and the follow-up news article. Then it was on to Vimy Ridge, through beautiful Abbeville. And what a majestic day, what a sight. Canada's perhaps most famous military victory in World War I, when all 4 Canadian divisions, 100,000 men, had fought along a 10-mile front to capture what was considered an impregnable ridge. Truly grand procession led by Richard, followed by a very moving ceremony led by Reverend Carty. Alf Johnson is holding the flag. Symbolizes the mother that weeps for the lost sons. Wayne Pierce from Salt Spring, Air Force, lost an uncle at Vimy. The boys from Montreal, missing is Alan Ross. Les Griffiths, Wilbrod, Pogern, and Robinson. Marie from Princeton. Majestic monument created by Walter Allard, Canada's best sculpture. Trees planted for all the dead. Ground still pockmarked by shells. Can't walk on it. Sheep cut the grass. The trenches partially restored. Much better now. Bill Palfrey leaving the Vimy Cemetery. Another unknown soldier of the Great War, known only to God. Well, we left Vimy and headed for Belgium and Ypres, the Menin Gate, where 50,000 names are inscribed who have no known grave from the British Empire. The ceremony stopped the traffic play the last post. Some of our people found names of relatives. Jessie Keys found her uncle, a Mathers from Sumas Mountain, BC. Art Marshall noticed a couple of marshals from the regiment where his uncle served. There's Mr. Beatty from Salt Spring, Air Force man. Then it was on to Belgium Agadem Cemetery. Dignitaries, wonderful day, beautiful trip and lunch. And Bill Bennett's granddaughter, Lori, Retta in Flanders Field. There's Archie Cavisto. The Leopold Canal, where a major battle was fought. The town of Bruges, a wonderful tourist city, well-preserved medieval town. We received in the town hall, very majestic place. Old paintings, canal cruises, chocolates, lace. A very nice day. And the Bruges Bridge, captured by the Manitoba Dragoons. There's Fred Hughes. Bill Batten was missing, but he later went out by taxi to see it. Then back to Ghent and the welcome there. There's Ron Parkinson, Art Marshall and his wife, Les Moore, and then into Holland. We didn't see too many tulips, but we had warm welcome there. First it was through Walcheren, along the Scheldt, South Beveland Peninsula, to Bergen op Zoom. Who can forget the reception given to us by the Dutch? Flashbacks then and then now. Many changes over the years, but some customs are still retained. People in Netherlands have a proud heritage and suffered greatly during the war. Radios were banned, dikes were blown and there was flooding. Fighting was often in mud, wet, cold, heavy casualties. Bergen op Zoom Cemetery then and now. Again a beautiful day following a nice lunch and reception. The Burgermeister's on the right. Richard leading the procession, Alan Ross holding the flag, Tom Griffiths laying the wreath. But most touching was the presence of children brought out by one of the ladies from Bergen op Zoom. After Tom laid the wreath, these children presented a wreath. And it was very moving to see how the children of the Netherlands remember the contribution of Canadian soldiers and other soldiers who liberated the Netherlands. Bergen op Zoom, very beautiful town, obviously rebuilt since the war. The Music Man is there. Heineken, owned most of Holand. Well, we didn't cover all that territory, but we covered a lot of it. We weren't shot at like they were 50 years ago, nor did we come in tanks or army vehicles. But the memories are still alive. And the price paid by Allied soldiers who liberated the Netherlands. A lot of the Dutch land is claimed from the sea. And the Dutch have lived a constant battle fighting against the sea. But they decorated their towns wonderfully. And we wish we had more pictures. The Holand Cemetery. More time to share. The Holand Cemetery, where we met other trips and had a joint ceremony. Ours was a very moving ceremony that day. Bill Batten presented a wreath, And there's Bill, 50 years ago, lieutenant, won the MC. Olive Horbeluck lost her brother, who's buried there.
That certain night,
Then it was on to Germany, the Hochwald Forest and the town of Udom, across the famous bridges. There's the one near Arnhem, where the failed drop took place. There's the Nijmegen Bridge. We stopped in Nijmegen.
In Berkeley Square.
Time for a little shopping, looking around.
I may be wrong,
There's some of the flooding that took place during the war.
but I'm perfectly willing to swear.
And now a Mississippi steamboat, Paul Delorme in Nijmegen. Canada flag and flowers.
A nightingale sang.
And the market in Nijmegen.
Berkeley.
Cold winter 50 years ago. Well, getting back to the Rhineland and the Hochwald, one of the worst battles of the war. Again, muddy conditions. The bridge built across the Rhine then. One of the longest bridges built by the engineers during the war. Churchill observing the crossing of the Rhine. Back to Udom. Paul Delorme enjoying a drink. Wayne Pierce. The Hochwald then. Mines loaded the ground. And one of the teachers with Wilf. The green bus.
Good night. A nightingale sang.
The hunger winter in Western Holland. The main task of the 1st Canadian Army was to liberate the Netherlands. The Dutch were starving, cut off from food and fuel, especially in the larger cities. Time was passing. They had to be rescued. A food drop took place. Finally, German surrender. There's Blaskowitz. General Kitching was there. He's still living in Victoria. He was the host of the parade in Apeldoorn. The surrender. The victory celebrations. The joy of liberation. Queen Wilhelmina.
As the tap dancing feet of a stare.
And what a wonderful reception we had in Katwijk. Art Marshall, Herman Keyes. I'm sure this must have been the highlight of the trip. Joe Braconier, Pastor Carty, Bob James, the Dutch then and now. Arnold Shine and his wife, Fred Hack, Wilbrod and Tom, Tiny Wetton and Guy Graham. Joe Braconier. Another nice lunch, presentations. And then the wonderful parade. There's the organizer of the Liberation festivities with Larry Backen. What a parade it was. 200,000 people lining the streets along a 5-kilometer route. And we and some British vets were their guests. And there's some of our observers enjoying the parade. Hot day. Here they come, led by Burt Woodward and our piper Richard. Richard Raven, Tom Workman, Bill Bennett, Bill Holiday, Mr. Gauld from Edmonton. There's Elfrida from Osoyoos. Many of the men rode. Sid Mears, Alf Thompson. Come the Brits. Dennis, our cameraman. Some went over to Pinnaker in a helicopter. Paul was one of them. And they too had a wonderful reception. Steve Siglish, Tom Workman again. Sid Mears and Paul DeLorme. Bob Bunning, Sylvan Lake. And there's Ricky. He had a good time too. Ricky Bennett. Larry Backen and the acting mayor. And what a kiss. I bet Larry enjoyed that. And so did Richard. And the commemorative chocolate bar. A prayer for peace. The flame of liberation and peace in Catbeg. Some of the people of Catbeg relaxing after the Janes and Palfrey. Liberation 50 years ago. Utrecht. Thanks, liberators. And then the parade in Apeldoorn. 300,000 to 400,000 people lining the parade route. Hot day. Bill Palfrey. Many pipe bands. Dennis Carty. 50 years ago in Amsterdam. Tom Workman, Elfrida, Lauren Robinson, Ivan Gold, Archie Cavisto, Iris Sartoris, Burt Woodward, Carter, Mr. Carter from Alberta, Phil Frank from Courtney. Who could ever forget Bill Rupert and the enjoyment of that day? Ricky Bennett, Paul DeLorme, Jesse Keyes and Mrs. Iris Ferguson, Larry Backen and two welcomers, Tom and Herb, Daniel or Charlie Lee. Thank you, heroes. Thank you, boys. Thank you. Thank you. What a grateful people. What a beautiful relationship between two countries. Then and now. Ron Parkinson and Mr. Jenkinson. Bill Bennett. Does Bill doing a jig? Does the piper wear any tender's kilt? Herb. And now. Bill Bennett, John Gallipo, Herb Whitehead, Larry Backen, Tom Workman, Grosbeak, site chosen by General Simmons near Nijmegen. Mrs. Jolly's brother of the Black Watch. And the ceremony. Princess Marguerite, born in Canada during the war. Mrs. Jolly laying a wreath in memory of her brother. Princess Marguerite and her husband, and Lawrence Macaulay, Canada's Veterans Affairs Minister. Aubrey Cousins, BC, winner's grave. The three Bennetts, three generations. Alf Johnson, Dennis Backen. The two ladies from Mission Abbotsford. Iris presenting a plaque to Mr. Van Kampen of the White Hotel. Amsterdam. Anne Frankhouse. They say there's a troop ship just leaving Bombay. Amsterdam then and now. City of Canals. Liberation in Amsterdam 50 years ago. There's many a twerp signing on. You'll get no promotion this side of the ocean, so cheer up, my lads, bless 'em all, bless 'em all. Holand, bless 'em all. Elfrida, the long and the short and the Flowers of Lys, Cliff Moore, the Windmills. Looks at your tongue and just says number 9. So if in a decline, Bill Bennett again. Just tell the MO. Bill Holiday in his moment of glory. Liberation remembered. The airport and goodbye. Home, Bill. Trevor Nash of the White Bus. We shall not forget those who died. Their name liveth forevermore. They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun, and in the morning we shall remember them.